Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're having a sweet ass week. Today, right now, in this part of New Zealand anyway, it's a public holiday, so I'm chilling out, shooting a little bit of pool, drinking a little bit of whiskey, cooking some dinner for tonight. But I just got a really interesting question from Matt on Facebook. And I thought it would be interesting to share that with all of you and have a really quick talk through it. And I also thought perhaps this could be something kind of cool going forward. When I get an interesting question, I can share it with everyone else because I'm sure other people have got the same questions as well. Before I get to that, I just wanted to say really quickly, sorry for the lack of video last week, guys. I did have some technical issues that kind of stopped me from being able to get it up, and I know it's kind of slack doing the same video the same week, but anyway, sorry about that. I'll make up for it this week with two videos, this one and the one that I missed last time. And I also wanted to give some feedback to your feedback on the last video that I did. Essentially, I was asking, do you want me to branch out and do some slightly different things every now and again? It looks like your response was pretty much split down the middle. Some people were saying that would be awesome, we'd love to see different things. Other people were saying, it's a distilling channel, keep it distilling. And I kind of see both sides of it, but I think what I'm going to do is kind of split the difference. And I will do some other things, but only if they relate directly to distilling as well. Or, for example, maybe it's something that could be a hobby in and of itself, but there's a reason to do it for distilling. So making a smoker so I can smoke grains, but I can also use it to smoke meat. Anyway, so if you know someone that has a skill set that could be cool for distilling, whatever it may be, let them know that I'd love to talk to them. Anyone who's good at what they do and enjoys geeking out about what they do, I'm happy to talk to them anyway. Maker's Mark, yum. Anyway, on to the question, guys, and let me pull it up because I don't want to butcher this. So basically, Matt got hooked up with a bunch of grain that he wanted to make a all-grain single malt out of, or something along those lines. And he took that grain, he mashed in with it, and realized that he was getting almost no sugar out of it. At which point, he double-checked and realized that the grain was roasted. An annoying thing to figure out after you've just done all that work, but something that would be super easy to do if you weren't used to dealing with this stuff. So the question is, what should he do with it and how should he go forward? Can he use it for something else, or is it just a write-off because there's no sugar in it? So first up, let's talk a little bit about roasted barley. Roasted barley is a specialty grain or a specialty malt that has been roasted, obviously, and the process of doing so adds flavor to the barley, but what it will also do is totally denature all of the enzymes, so it isn't any good for a mash. You might use roasted barley in something like a stout or generally a darker drink, and even in a drink like that, you would use it in relatively low quantities to make a beer if you're making something like a stout. Different recipes will call for different amounts, but in a 20-30 litre batch, you might be using 200 to 800 grams of the stuff, absolute max. So making a wash with 100% of this stuff is going to be pretty hardcore, and I'm guessing it's going to have some pretty serious sort of acrid, bitter flavors to it, but it might also have some really interesting dark chocolate, coffee, even maybe a little bit of dark fruit, those sort of flavors in there as well. And to be honest, I just don't know exactly what's going to happen to those flavors when you run it through a still. Honestly, the reason that this question really leapt out to me is I've been thinking about making something with dark malts for a while now and distilling it. Something like a stout, but without the hops perhaps, or with just a little bit of hops. I don't know, I hadn't got that far into it. So the way I see it, dude, is you can do a couple of different things. One, you can treat it kind of like a UJSSM, throw a bunch of sugar into it, aim for, 1060 or something like that, that it'll give you sort of 8%-ish when it ferments out. So that's option number one. So you're basically making a sugar wash that is flavored with the roasted barley. Option two would be to make an even bigger batch. Perhaps you make 100 liters of wash, and then add this 20 litres back into it so that the roasted grain isn't such a big part of your mash bill. But the problem with that is obviously you're spending a whole lot more money adding complexity into something that may not work in the first place. So personally, I would probably go with option number one. When you distill it out, it may turn out that it is absolutely horrible. It's insanely bitter and acrid, It might be, I don't know. On the other hand, it might fraction out and you might be able to take some sort of pretty serious cuts and dial into some really cool chocolate, coffee, dark fruit sort of flavors. I just don't know. Maybe it'll be drinkable by itself, but maybe it'll turn into something really interesting where you just add a shot of this little tincture solution that you've got into a bottle of other single malt that gives it a bit of a kick in the pants and gives it a lift too. So I'd say it's definitely worth doing, dude, and when you do it, make sure you let us know how it turns out. That'd be absolutely awesome. Anyway guys, I'm going to get back to lounging around the house. We got roast lamb in the oven right now. I can't wait for that. Stay classy, team, and I'll catch you later in the week. See ya!